Hello everybody. So I wanted to do a walkthrough for the answers for the database scavenger hunt. Just in case you ended up in a spot that you weren't expecting, I wanted to go through the answers just so you can see how if you change a search term even a tiny bit, you're going to get different search results than where I was hoping we would all end up. But lots of things can impact your search. But I just wanted to go through the walkthrough with you just so we can see where you ended up, how you got there, and so on. So we're going to start on part one. Part one, I asked you to go Google Scholar, type in Super Mario. And I always switch up my theme for the database scavenger hunts, and I went with Super Mario this term. But we're going to go to Google Scholar, type that in, click search. And the scavenger hunt asked, what is the name of the second search result and what journal was it published in? The second search result should have been modeling player experience, and before we even click on it, you can find the journal name, but clicking on it usually helps get you some more information. And this one was published in IEEE. This was a symposium. There it is. The 2009 IEEE Symposium on Computational Intelligence and Games, and it was September 2009. So it was from a conference, and most likely they published some sort of follow-up after the conference where people could read the papers in that publication following. All right, and then what I asked you to do was go back to the search results page, and we're going to add another word to our search. So we're going to go back to Google Scholar. Up here in the top hand corner, advanced search, we're going to add in the word history, and with the exact phrase means that every single source that comes up after this, it has to include that phrase somewhere. So we're going to click search. While it's searching, the question was, what is the name of the sixth result? And let's check. The thing with Google Scholar is it doesn't number anything for you, so you kind of have to count. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one was Making Mario, Shaping Franchise History Through Paratextual Play. And then it says to click on the seventh search result, and then when was the source published and what type of source is it? So the seventh one is right below that. We're going to click on it. Give it a second to load. And if you're looking just at this page, this is where you can find all the information about the source. We see the abstract and so on. But what I was asking was what type of source is it? And if you go down, you can see the item type. This is actually a PhD thesis. So someone had to get this published while they were getting their PhD, most likely to get their PhD conferred. So that's the type of source that I was looking for that question. It's a PhD thesis. Then one more time, I said go back to the search results page, and we're going to change the date range and see how that changes the search results. I'm going to go back up to the advanced search, get rid of the word history. We're going to do 2001 to 2005. And the question was the second result, who is the author? And then what volume and issue number was it published in? So the second result is N. Herzfeld, and you can see that without even clicking on it, you can see who the author is, but we're going to click on the name of this source again just so we can find out more information. It's asking me to verify. And here we are. So it's Noreen Herzfeld is the author, and the question about volume and issue, you can find that information up here. This is volume 44, issue 4, winter 2005, and the journal name is Dialogue, so the Journal of Theology. So those were the answers for the Google Scholar portion. I'm going to switch over to Academic Search Complete, which is the database through the OIT library. That was part 2, and I already have that one pulled up. And we are going to search same search result or same search term. This is Super Mario. But the way you get to Academic Search Complete, you click on Electronic Resources. It's that first database. And all I'm asking you to type in for this one is Super Mario, no other search terms. And we're going to click Search. And while that's loading, the question was sixth search result and what journal and what year. The good thing about Academic Search Complete is it will number them for you, so it's all nice and numbered. So number 6 is the impact of the 1980s and 1990s video games on multimedia cartography. Without even clicking on it, we can see the journal that it was published in is right here. It takes some looking, the text is tinier, but this is in Cartographica from summer of 2017. You can see the volume and issue information. But the next thing I asked you to do on the scavenger hunt is to click on the name of that journal once it's a hyperlink, and we're going to search within that journal. So the way we get it to be a hyperlink is you have to click into the article. So now we're in the article details, there's the title, you can see the authors, and right under source information, you can see the name of the journal is a hyperlink now. We're going to click on that. And then right up at the top here, it says search within this publication. So if you found information about this journal and you were like, this sounds really interesting, it's research about maps and how that relates to any other sort of research. We found one that was based on Super Mario. If that sounds really interesting to you, I recommend checking out the full journal. So what you can do is search within this publication. It'll redirect you to the search page and it says JN and in quotes Cartographica. JN just means journal. It's going to search for anything that we have at the OIT library in this database with access. It's going to search that journal. So before I click search, the question is, what's the sixth result and does it have a downloadable PDF? So let's check. So we're searching just that journal. We're going to scroll down to number 6, and it is uninhabited, unused, untraveled, or uncharted. And so again, all these results are going to be about mapping in some way. And does it have a PDF? It does. There's a PDF right here, so we can find the full text. If it didn't, that link would be gone, and all you'd be able to do is find it at OIT, and you can request it a different way. But PDF, that one does have it. All right, so next thing we're going to go do is back to the search results page and then go to search options. So let's do that. So usually I just click here. We're going to go to search options, and I said periodicals owned by OIT. So this is periodicals are things issued quarterly, biannually, things like that. Magazines and newspapers typically. So, and the search term is the same. It's Super Mario. But we're doing only publications owned by OIT. We're going to see what happens. The question was, how many results are there? And the first result, subject terms. So there are 11 results, pretty narrow. That's a very narrow search. And the reason is because it's only from periodicals and it's things that we already have access to. So there are 11 search results. Let's see, the first result, subject terms, you can actually see those here, but we're going to click on the name of the journal. Or the name of the article, excuse me, and then the subject terms are right here. So what that means are these are some keywords that most likely you would type in and you'd find this article under. So machine learning, video game design, and then Super Mario Bros. The game specifically is what came up. And then the last question on the database hunt was, where did this article appear in print? What sort of publication or source? What I was looking for that one is the source, and this one was in a magazine. It was New Scientist is the name of that magazine in 2018. And that was the last question. So that's where I was hoping you would end up at the very end, was on this article, Machines Make the Next Super Mario. So that's where I was hoping you would end up after the whole thing. And I had a note down here that said if you were having trouble, it's totally fine. Any sort of change, if there was like one word misspelled or an extra word or any extra symbol, it can change the search results you get. So it could have just been a small thing that impacted what you were able to find. But that's where I was hoping you would end up for the purposes of our class. So if you have any questions about where you ended up on the database scavenger hunt, if it was different, send me an email. I'm happy to go over it with you, or do a walkthrough if you're having trouble finding any sources. But that's it for the walkthrough. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.